Big up Sporting Icon. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow.
Exciting news here domestically, of course, with Lawrence Okolie, and I wish that a lot of fighters would take a leaf out of Lawrence Okolie's book. For me, I've always said that in Britain we have so many fighters that they all need to fight each other. That's what I've always wanted. This has always been my gripe with Anthony Yarde. He should be looking at cleaning up light heavyweight. If he takes a loss along the way, you take a loss along the way, but take a risk, you get respect for it. Win, lose or draw, you get respect for that. I don't like cherry picking, all that kind of thing. Now Lawrence Okolie is somebody who you cannot accuse of not doing that, because as I said, there's too many fighters will come along, they'll knock over a few journeymen, and then they'll look to a European kind of route, like a WBO route, on a European title or whatever, and then they'll get a chance for a world title, because it doesn't really matter who you beat, it's about how many wins that you're getting and the kind of route that you take, and eventually you'll get a world title shot before you're ready. For me, you should always clean up domestically, and it's not just here in the UK, over there in America. For me, if you just look at the heavyweight division in America, you've got Wilder, you've got Brazil, you've got Jaron Miller, you've got Charles Martin, you've got Adam Kalinowski, and the list goes on. These guys need to be fighting each other. Okay, over here we have many fighters that need to be fighting each other as well. Look at the light heavyweight division. There's so many of them. Hosea Burton, you've got Callum Johnson, you've got Anthony Yarde, Joshua Boazzi, and so on and so on. They all need to be fighting each other. It's just my opinion, of course, because all these kind of things will get you used to fighting the best, and once you become the best here, as I said, there's nothing wrong with taking a loss along the way, but if you take a loss here, you are building up anyway. Win, lose or draw, you're building up your resume, you're building up your experience, so when it comes to a world title shot, you're better prepared. Lawrence Okolie, let's go back onto him. As I said, the British Boxing Board of Control have ordered that MATTY ASKIN, who is of course the British Cruiserweight Champion, defend his title against Lawrence Okolie no later than November. Now, that's not to say neither of these guys can get a fight in between. Of course they can, but this fight must happen no later than November. Lawrence Okolie is of course the Commonwealth champion after beating Luke the Duke Watkins in the last fight. Again, Luke Watkins was an undefeated fighter. Again, domestic rivalry, I like all these kind of things, and you don't have to dislike each other, just get it on. And Lawrence Okolie is doing this. He's the WBA Continental Cruiserweight champion, I believe, as well, and in a very, very short space of time. So he's the kind of person that I believe is doing it right. You take on like a couple of journeymen just to kind of like, get used to the pro game, but then you start moving up the levels. That's what you do, just move up the levels, and that's what he's doing. You see, he's taken on a couple of journeymen before, and then he's moving into cleaning up domestically. MATTY ASKIN, of course, is the #1 British cruiserweight right now. Personally, I don't think he really is. I like him, don't get me wrong, I like him, but for me, he's got a couple of losses that make me go, I'm not too sure about you. I mean, to lose to, what's his name? Ovil McKenzie, that was him. Okay, he lost on majority decision, but, for me, even at that time, McKenzie had already lost like 12 fights at that point. Now, this was back in 2015. MATTY ASKIN hasn't lost a fight since. He does have a draw against Lawrence Bennett, but again, that was in 2015 in October, and he's won every single fight since. Well, I say every single one. He's had 5 fights since 2015. So that will kind of go to show that he's not as active as maybe he should be. He is 29 years old. He's from Blackpool, or that's currently where he is now, but he was born in Barnsley, of course, which is in Yorkshire. And MATTY ASKIN has a record of 23 wins, with 15 of those by knockout, 3 losses and 1 draw. Now, as I said, those 3 losses, they did happen quite a while ago. His last loss was in March 2015 against Ovil McKenzie. He did lose by majority decision. And then his loss before then was 2012 against an undefeated 17-0 Krzysztof Głowacki. So you can kind of understand that one, but he did lose by knockout in the 11th round. But Głowacki, he's a very, very good, decent fighter, so I can't really knock him for that one. But he did actually lose prior to that as well against John Lewis Dickinson. He lost by unanimous decision. So, I mean, his biggest win for me, probably Craig Kennedy, to be fair. I like Craig Kennedy. I've always rated him. I always thought that, you know, he's a decent fighter, and Matty Askin beat him in May-June of last year, where he beat him by knockout. So that was a bit surprising, that one. I expected that one to go a little bit further, but it doesn't really matter. I like Matty Askin versus Lawrence Okolie. Of course, this won't just be for the British Cruiserweight Championship. This will be for the Commonwealth as well, plus the WBA Continental. So good stuff. I like this fight. As I said, I like when the domestic fighters want to clean up and fight each other. I like that. As I said, nothing wrong with taking a loss along the way. Even if Lawrence Okolie was to lose at some point, hey, you know what, that is what it is. But for me, I believe that Lawrence Okolie is doing it the right way, and that's how I want other people to do it. Ultimately, what I want and what I think isn't that important in the grand scheme of things, but from an idealist perspective, Lawrence Okolie is doing it right. Will he move up to heavyweight one day? Maybe. As I said, you know, he's very, very tall, and he's rangy as hell, big, long, powerful arms, and just deadly, absolutely deadly. So Lawrence Okolie is doing everything right, and to get a win over Matty Askin, I would favour Lawrence Okolie, to be fair. I would expect it to be a longer fight than against Luke Watkins. Although, to be fair, I did say that Luke Watkins against Lawrence Okolie, I expected that one to be a bit of a war and go some distance. Ultimately, that didn't happen. But I'm going to say it again, Matty Askin against Lawrence Okolie. Ordinarily, I'll probably say that this one's got a few rounds in it. But the way that Lawrence Okolie can just clean up, I don't know, I wouldn't put it past him to end Matty Askin early. But at the same time, Arthur Chamberlain did go the distance with Lawrence Okolie. But he got dominated in that fight, so you know what, that is what it is. So Lawrence Okolie, undefeated still, and looking to take on Matty Askin. As I said, won't necessarily be his next fight, but it's going to have to happen before the end of the year if he wants to become the British Cruiserweight Champion. So drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.